and has so many credentials behind him. Again, he was like one of the guys I idolized as I was coming up through wrestling, and thought that this is the guy that's the best in the world. And he's had so many credits, so much to back that. It's amazing. Without further ado, I want to have Lee Kemp come in and do it.
Tying up looks cool. I think we have a generation of younger athletes that they want to look cool. They want to look cool and move around and all that kind of stuff and be on one knee, and that's just not the way I learned how to wrestle. I want to be tied up with this guy. Even if I use Jordan's name a lot, why would you not tie him up? At least make an attempt to tie him up. This guy is quicker than you are. He's stronger than you are. And I've seen him for practice for a whole hour just shadow wrestling. Just his footwork is incredible. When he was here last year, I was here, and one of the first things he said, you may remember, is he talked about his footwork. His footwork is so important. He understands exactly how he's going to be moving. And he demonstrated how a guy shoots, he's going to step to the side and reshoot. It's not just a shot, reshot, and that's it. No, it's footwork involved in it. And he drills that multiple times every day. Isaiah was talking about the five hours and the 10,000 hour rule. Jordan's been 20,000 hours with his technique and how he shoots a double. It's not just a double leg, it's all the other stuff that gets it into the double leg that people aren't willing to spend the 10,000 hours learning. But tying up is so important. We'll start there. Again, when I walk on the mat, I always wanted to make sure I owned the real estate before I walked out. So the habits that Isaiah was talking about, there's nothing wrong with habits. I think we move our minds into this area. Maybe we think it's superstitious and we just try not to do that. But I know I had a certain routine every morning. I know that as an athlete, when I would pack my bag for the match, man, I'd make sure my shoes, my socks, my jock, my singlet, everything was in there. I could go through that in my mind. I always carried my food with me. I was a big granola eater, and I had my nuts with me and my fruit. I went through all that, and the people around me couldn't understand how I could forget everything else. Forget my schoolwork, my books, my room was a mess, but my wrestling bag was intact. I never was one of those guys. Oh, where's my headgear? You've all had athletes like that, right? They don't think, they're at the turn. The headgear. What kills me is you see these high-level athletes get on the mat. The natural time the headgear doesn't fit. How does that happen? It keeps coming off. That's because that's a distraction, first of all. But habits are so important. So one of the habits I incorporated when I started wrestling was making sure that nobody was going to take me down or get on my legs because I was not ready. And you have these athletes that tell you sometimes, Coach, I need a match to get into the tournament. Well, you may not get into the tournament because you may not get past that first match. I've known athletes that would wrestle a match in the practice room prior to the match because they knew that they needed to get that going. Well, if that's your habit, you got to do that every single time. Mark Schultz, another great wrestler, he made a post. He talked about how he would pace. He was a 167-pounder, right around 134 weight class. He'd start pacing. It's a habit. And I texted back on Facebook and said, Mark, I was a pacer too. It was a habit. It was a routine that I did. Every time I wrestled, I made sure, man, I must have paced like 5 miles, it's just crazy. It was just a routine that I was in. So when I walked on the mat, he's standing there and my mind is already thinking, I'm controlling that real estate. So I'm going to walk out like this, right here. So there's no way that he's going to get past that space. So that's routine. And my hands want to be on them. Now, you see a lot of wrestlers, they know they should down block, so they got one hand here and all that stuff. But if you're still out here, if this guy shoot in, and I don't even see him until he's here, he's got my leg, so down block doesn't help. My hand has to be here like this. So now when he starts to shoot, I feel it. I can move and I can feel it. My hands are on him all the time. I want to keep my hands on him. Even if he gets down on one knee, my hands on him like this. My hands are right here. Now this doesn't look as cool doing this as this kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff. It's like the room is dark and I'm like this, trying to reach out for him like this. I want him to hit my hands before he ever gets anywhere near my legs. And again, it's a whole thing of just looking cool, maybe. We're in a different generation of athletes, and I just wanted to win. And I knew if my hands were on this guy, I could feel anything he was trying to do to me. if my eyes were closed even, I could feel when he tries to shoot. I can feel it. I can just feel it. My hands are always on him. And if I wrestled Jordan, my hands would be on him all the time like this. And sure, we went over yesterday, if he snaps me, I gotta practice. I gotta practice going on the mat with my hands, so I'm not gonna get snapped off balance. So, great question. That's what athletes aren't doing today. They're not using their hands as much as I think they should. Hands are so important. If you could get your athletes to think about tying up, and we'll go over the types a little bit. I'm here, I want to be inside, and my thumbs are always here. One thumb or the other. I don't ever want to be over like that, because he could post elbows, post hands, guy can get in like that. When my thumbs are here, if he posts, it's going to be hard. My thumb gets caught there, and I feel it. And once I feel it, everything inside me reacts because I feel that right here on my tip, on my thumb here. If he comes inside, I'm going to take the elbow and pull it up. That's automatic. That's the tie-ups. If you watch me wrestle, I'm in this position probably 70% of the match. When I'm in this tie-up, I know he can't shoot on me. So for the time that I'm in this tie-up, I know he can't shoot. If he does shoot, is it going to be a good or bad shot? I want him to have a bad shot in front headlock. So no matter what he's doing, I'm tying the arms like this. And I'm leaning like this because I want him to think he can shoot. I want him, I'm really exposing that side of my body. What that does, number one, he can't shoot on this leg. If this guy was really good at shooting at my left leg, I've taken that away. But I want him to think he can shoot, and I'll bait him like this. And I can feel him because my hand's inside. If he was inside, he's got a little bit of an advantage. Because he releases and reaches my leg, I can't stop that. I don't want that. I want to be here. So my thumb is always going to be there. So as long as my thumb is inside, I'm inside. If he tries to take a shot, I feel it. I feel it with that hand. And if he takes a hard shot, I'm going right here, front headlock. That's where I want to be. And I baited him into that. And I talked about chess yesterday. I've heard it put, every industry, every profession has certain key points for success. And I've heard lawyers say, you know, in a trial, never ask a question that what? Don't know the answer to. So I don't want to have a tie on him that I don't know what he can do to me. So I always have an answer. So if I'm here, there's only one thing that I'm giving him open to do. He can't headlock, he can't fire me, his arms are tied up. He can only do one thing, and shoot at that leg. So I know that answer already. So I can react. If I'm out here, he can do lots of things, man. He could do crazy stuff like Bubba Jenkins super duck. He could have ankle picks. You could have David Taylor doing all of this stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to think about doing. I've got to make him do what I want him to do here. Now he's going to do what I want him to do here. Even if he tries to get his arm free, I'm not letting him get the arm free. When he's trying to tug and get his arm free, he's caught there for a little bit. I'm not saying he can't ever get his arm free, but if he jerks it hard to get it free, I go right back to it again. So during those little increments of time that I have him tied up, I know he can't shoot. If he does shoot, it's going exactly the way I want him to shoot. Now, the better the wrestler, the better skill set he has at trying to score, and that's what it's about anyway. See who's the best wrestler. But I want to control the match as much as I can. I guess I've been called a control freak at certain points in my life, you know, and I guess it carries over because I like control. I like controlling the whole thing. Controlling the elbow, and then we didn't really get into this, but from here you can always get into a Russian arm tie, another control position. When I'm here, I'm just taking the arm, and when I take it by, I'm like peeling it by my body. I'm not just doing this, I'm crowding him like this, crowding with my chest. I like having my chest in front of him because, first of all, I'm not really trying to shoot at this point. I just want to control him. I'm trying to work on his mind. I want him to think he can't beat me, he can't score, he can't, as long as his arm is all tied up, he can't do anything. And I'm trying to force him, if he's a competitor, to try to do something that, a shot of some type. Now if he shoots, there's only one leg he could shoot at, there's only one way he could do it. Again, I'm not giving him the elbow. A lot of the counters are pulling the elbow by. I'm to the side, and I'm moving back that way. So as he's trying to make me pull out, I'm moving back this way. I'm moving this way. I'm keeping that away. So I want him to try to shoot at something. There's really nothing for him to shoot at. This leg he can't shoot at, and then I can reach to that leg. I did that a lot in college. Russian arm tie, but it's not just a Russian arm tie. It's peeling the arm across your chest here. I'm just burying it to my chest. That's where I want him. I want him to feel that stretch across his arm. I want his brain to be there for a second. Like, what is this guy trying to do to my arm? Is he trying to hurt my arm? I'm here, to the side, like that. Even if he's trying to square with me, I'm not letting him keep myself behind like this. I can attack that leg. Here, elbow here. Peeling it across my body here like this. And that allows me to get to the side. I don't want him underneath my chin with his head to the side. I can't shoot here. I can't do anything here. And he's got more of an angle. Now we're back wrestling. When I get this, I want to have all the control. I'm peeling this by my body this way. And I'm making it hard for him to square up. When he tries to square up, I can continue. We get to the side. Reach to that leg. Single. We went on that. Sure. Post. Another option from here is I'll grab my own wrist. And when I grab my own wrist, I'm controlling him to a point where I'm forcing him to fight really hard to try to get my hand free. When he reaches there, now I know that when I jerk him down, he doesn't have a post. I jerk this way. So that's what I'm looking for. Peel this off, control like this. If he reaches, that's what I want him to do. I'm sticking it out, but once it's there, I'm yanking it down. And I hold on to the wrist. Even though he tries to spin in front of me, all my weight's on that wrist. He'll tell you it's hard to get his hand back, right? Because my whole weight's on it. So even though he's trying to spin, my weight's here, and I can come behind. So when I pull him down, I'm holding his wrist like this. I step, yank, and I put all my weight into his hand. And I can hang on to it if I get behind. Peeling in front. Another option, sometimes guys push on your head, which is what a lot of guys will do. They'll push and really good there. I'll reach around and grab his arm like this. And I have his arm tight. I'm holding it, so grip is important. I don't want him to yank his arm out. If he yanks his arm out, I don't want that. So I'm holding it. So if he tries to get his arm out, I'm holding it tight. You can either hold it like this too. Holding it, the chest inside. So either way, I'm holding it. And as he's trying to push my head and come out, what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to move him to the mat like this. Move here, and come behind.
Hey Lee, can you change that angle so we can...
So when I get the Russian arm tie, he comes inside. I'm turning my body, peeling it. He pushes on my head. I come over and grab here. I can't go around his back. He's leaning back too far. Most guys will elongate their body. I'm just coming around like this. And I'm holding tight so he can't pull this arm out. Pull the arm out. I'm not holding tight here, so my hips are here. So he tries to get the arm out. I'm holding tight. And now I'm going to try is, I'm going to have my hip catch behind his arm. So I'm going to roll my body this way. See, now I'm behind his arm. If I roll back out, this is where I am. So I'm rolling this way. Now I'm behind the arm and I just continue to pull him forward. And now I'm holding onto that wrist again. Here, he pushes on my head. Before I get the angle, I grab tight. My hips are in. I'm going to roll my body right behind that elbow. I can feel it. When I roll, I'm just roll here, behind. I still have the wrist. And even though he pivots, I'm not burying the arm. It's here, so he doesn't have anything to grab for a roll or Granby. Here, he can grab the wrist, catch me in something. I'm just here, behind. Last option here. Here, pushes on my head. I grab here. I pull him in, so he takes a step. Then I step over his leg. Here, you can see I'm catching him. I'm not trying to hip throw him. I'm just lifting. I'm driving him this way. So now he can't get the leg out. Here, when he falls to the mat, I post. And then I throw my half right here and catch him right on his back. Take the elbow out this way on the head, pull him, step. As I step, I keep the foot up, fall on the mat, my hips are right to his chest, and I still have this arm. Then I just shoot the half over post, my chest right here. Is there any questions? When I wrestle, I'm going into these moves over and over and over again. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I go from one to the other to the other. I don't deviate from that. I always want to keep my hands on. We didn't really touch on snaps, but snaps are a part of this too. When I'm inside here with my hands on his shoulders, I'm grabbing his biceps right there. And the way I was taught to snap is I'm just pulling everything down here. You know, you can just really get a good hard yank. And Ivanov has those exercise routines where he's pulling. And that's that strength, that motion that we don't have as Americans. And snap, that motion. Just that motion, over and over, that here. Pull. Just that snap, snap, snap. So if I'm always inside here like this, here, snap. Now that's the kind of motion I want, that snap. Here, my singles, there. Snap a little bit, here, single. Stretch your arms high, single. Stretch your arms high, set over here. Just drill the whole routine over and over and over again. Just to go over again the front headlock, he shoots. You want to catch the chin right here. So when he tries to back out, I'm holding that chin. I'm just crowding his head like this, with my arms just crowding it together. And what my goal is, I'm trying to get on the other side of his elbow. I'm building a wall with my arm, and I want to just get here. Grab the hip. We don't have much time. I want to get on the mat a little bit. I think it's real important. If I'm on the mat trying to get away, my goal is to get to my feet. And I don't teach, switches and rolls and things like that. Those are basic things that if they're there. But I want to spend my time on my feet, because if I get to my feet like this, and his hands are locked even, and he can't take me down, what is likely to happen here? The longer he's standing here and I'm standing here, and he can, who gets called for stalling here? So sometimes I see wrestlers fight hard to get to their feet, and you know what they do here about, as a coach or me as a coach watching, I'm watching the official. The official's like getting ready to call this guy for stalling in the back, but the wrestler in front is getting anxious, and he tries to switch. Now he's caught here again. Now he's got to fight hard to get back to his feet. He's better off just standing here. Take the stalling point. This guy will let you go anyway eventually. If he tries to pick me up like this, that should never happen. If he's trying to just to try to pick me up now, try here like this. Pull yourself forward, maybe grab his thighs. Too often, wrestlers are taught to just do this. And this guy could hip in and pick me up. He could pick me up. He can get from here like this, he can suck me back to the mat. Or we stand up, our cheeks just put our hips out. I want to be going forward like this. Because the moment I do this, a guy like David Taylor would suck me right back. Now I'm caught here. He's doing the claw and different things like that. If I'm leaning forward, he tries to pull me back now. He can't really. I'm going forward, my weight. Going forward. I get hand control like this, here. Forward, get away. If I'm doing my stand-up is going forward. I think the inside leg stamp is best, because this gets me in a position to actually stand up. Outside leg does not, because I got this base here, I can get chopped down over there. So what I learned and what worked for me was not like step one, step two like this, my hips out. What worked for me was to pretend I was the Incredible Hulk and I'm gonna just explode up like ready, like this. I'm going forward, so there's no chance for pulling me back. My weight's forward. If he tries to pull me back, I got some balance here. Even if he gets his hands locked somehow, he tries to pick me up, I can be forward here like this and work on hand control here. So the biggest thing I teach with my wrestlers is that whole notion of stepping forward like this. Being bent over, weight going forward. It's very different than hipping out and pushing the hands. Because good leg riders now, the whole trend is to claws, to pull you back. I want to be going forward. So everything else is the same. Controlling the hand, but when I come up, I'm opening the door here, and once I'm in this position, if you just let go of me for a second, what exercises is this right here?
Lunge.
It's a lunge. So if you think about exercises to help wrestling, that would be the one here. Because that's what you do when you're trying to get away. You're trying to get away by taking a step. He's on me. I gotta be strong enough to stand up here. And when I'm drilling with certain wrestlers, they're not strong enough to stand up there. Their back's not strong enough. They can't maintain pressure here, and they get driven forward. Like over a second. My lower back here, this is where, you know, we can do it. Exercises like this. I know.
Good morning.
Ivan was doing stuff like that, lower back. Being strong enough to be able to hold this position. While he's on my back, putting weight on me, I can feel I gotta be strong to hold that position. And then when I step up, I gotta be strong here to stand up. My arms are inside, so that if he tries to come inside, I'm blocking. Almost like that underhook example. I don't let him in, I get beat here. If he tries to go over top, I block. Underneath, I block. And I just come over those fingers. I come over the hands and take the fingers like that. Wrist does no good because he has a grip still. He can grab me still. Here, I take that away, and this is where I am. If we were to hand fight, just go harder. This is where I'm going to be right here. So the whole stand-up is inside leg, and I always curl my toes. Doesn't matter that he knows I'm going to do it. I see wrestlers sometimes get in this position. If I wrestle a guy and he gets here, I know he's not going to do a stand-up. I know he may be trying to switch. But what I see, more than half of the wrestlers I watch, this is what they do. Someone say, ready to wrestle. I'll show you what I see. Someone just say,
Ready to wrestle.
Ready to wrestle. That's what I see, all right? I'm not making that up. And then they start wrestling. There is no first move at all. I see this too. I see, you know, the referee position starts, the wrestler gets down like this, he just goes, you know, and then say ready to wrestle. Get behind me. Someone say ready to wrestle. Go ahead, wrestle. I see that, even with good wrestlers. I was taught to get a first move, to make him react to me. Even if I couldn't get up, let's just say he was behind me, and I couldn't get up, and just ride me hard. I can't get up. That's what I would do. That's what I teach wrestlers to do. You're struggling to handle me, right? He's working harder than I am. So you got to be in shape to do that. If you're tired that you don't want to put that energy coming up, then you just do this. And just let the guy ride you a little bit, and you try to do some roll or some switch or some Granby, or I see this all the time. Guys are riding triangle. Guys do this riding. Guys do this kind of stuff. Trying to get up. Like, physiologically, does this look like I can get up? They're like this, and they're just trying to get their feet underneath. To me, that's way more work. I'm not making this up, right? I mean, this is what you see. It's not wrestling. I'm not making them work. When I was a young wrestler, we did stand-ups until we hated doing stand-ups. Wrestling practice is drilling. It's, you know, like if you're a young doctor, don't you have to train and work on cadavers and spend hours. You know, our wrestlers are like a young doctor that just, hey, I want to operate on somebody. Just let me in the operating room. I know what I'm doing. Just start cutting on people. Wrestlers just want to start wrestling. And I was that way too, but I had coaches that disciplined me to do. I remember doing this drill for hours. Not hours, but after practice. Just get a referee position. How many times have you learned to wrestle, do this kind of stuff? When I was a young wrestler, we did that. So I hated doing it. It's like, but what it does is it teaches you how to move around behind the guy. Here. On your feet. Over and over and over again. So in my stand-ups, we would do it on our own. Just stand up. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, you know, like this real pretty stuff here like this and hips out. I just want to get to my feet. It's like, I'm just trying to get to my feet up. And I'm not running off the mat, I'm just up, so he's got to chase me. So we go out of bounds, get right back down again. He gets on me, and he knows I'm going to be standing up again. I want him to dread that. Next position is, a lot of times, a guy will go for your ankle. The moment he reaches for an ankle, typically, it's the outside ankle. That's 80% of the time, wrestlers go outside ankle. So, with that logic in mind, when I was riding, which ankle do you think I went for?
Inside.
Inside, because I wanted to catch him in a surprise. But most people will very easily try to grab the outside ankle. So say he's riding me, I feel his hand go to that ankle, I'm out right away. He just let me out. I want him, say I'm getting to my stand here, now he knows he's got a tiger here he's trying to hang on to, so now he tries to grab an ankle. The moment he grabs the ankle, bam. And I point the toe out. I was taught to do this. I don't sit out, because I'm right back in that situation that I don't want to be in. Don't want to go over my knee, he can cradle me. Same thing, I'm going forward, like this. Forward. I have that hand controlled, so he can't move that hand. I'm extending, so he's going to have to chase me. And I knee slide. I get my feet here, like this. And I got the hand controlled. So that brings me to the next position. I went over with John Tringe a little bit yesterday. If he's trying to break me down off my base here, I got to be strong. Should have pulled me over. I got to be strong in my core here. I feel my core working really hard here. If I get tired here, and I just say, oh, I can't hold this anymore, I go here. And now he's got a tight waist. Now it's riding me. Maybe he gets the wrist at that point. This is really difficult to get off in this position. So while he's trying to break me down, this is what he's going to feel here. I'll drop to an elbow. I'll start repositioning myself for balance. Obviously, if I was here and he's pulling me, I've got no post over there, right? So as he's pulling me, I post here. That gives me a little bit of a post there. So as he's trying to pull me, there's a post there. I'll drop to that elbow here like this. I'll lower my chest, and now I know the arm that's holding me is the arm around my waist. That's the one I'm going to, here. And now this distance is too far from the reach to grab my wrist now with this left hand. Like if he tries to reach underneath this hand, grab it to that hand. It's too far away now for him to take this hand and reach across to this wrist. So this one. Yeah, because that's the one you got to go for. So while I have it here, and I see him reaching across, I see it coming, and I just keep moving. I see wrestlers just allow the guy to grab their wrist here. Because if he grabs it and he pulls an arm out, now I'm in trouble. Now I can't get away. So just to clarify what I'm saying is, I want to control the wrist or hands. If he's a good wrestler, he's going to come and try to grab my wrist. I got to move it to the outside, or if I can't, I got to just let go. Because I don't want him to grab my wrist, I'll let go. Try to grab it again. Stand up. Now, from the back position, if he's down, conservatively, turn this way. What I'm trying to do now is I want to control his hips. So most wrestlers will get in this position with their laces flat. If he were to curl his toes, I know he's going to stand up, but it doesn't matter because I line up one knee here and I'm lining up right behind him like this. I want to be directly behind him because I want this knee to catch his leg here. So if he worked, and then I want my elbow on this guy's hip. What you mean? Nick will tell you he's feeling pressure with my arm on his hip. I'm not cheating, but there's no rules that say I have to be on him real light like this with no pressure. Man, when I get on him, if you ever see that commercial that Chevy truck where they're dropping the rocks into the bed of the truck. And when he lines up, I'll pay attention to what, if he curls a toe or whatever, I'll get on him like this. It's like here, boom. I want him to feel my weight. Like you feel my weight, right? My hand's on his hip. So right after wrestle, just say, someone said, just say ready wrestle.
Ready, wrestle.
Here, like that. I'm behind him. So Nick, try to pull your legs out. Go ahead. That's what I want for a second. I want to stop him. I want to stop any first move. And all wrestlers who talk to get hand control, they bring your arms in, and they're not paying attention to this. I get this 100% of the time. If you watch my match with Dan Gable, I was 18 years old. He does a stand-up. He stands up. I had his wrist just like this. And you'll see in that match with Gable, I did this, pull him right back down the mat. I did that in high school. If he was a skilled athlete, no one pays attention to their inside wrist. So everybody's taught to get hand control. I'm just waiting. I'm not trying anything else. I'm not trying to pull. I'm just waiting. He brings his arm in. There. That's what I want right there. I pull that in tight. Both of my arms are stronger than one of his. I have his feet controlled. Now I want to get him on his side. I don't want to pull on my side like this because now my arm is kind of trapped and buried. I want to pull him. I'll drag him here. So I'm on top. I'm squeezing with my hips. He'll tell you it's hard to get up here. For him to get up, it's really hard. Just try to get up. If he tries to get up, he's doing all the work here. I want him to get tired. So now, the one arm that's holding him the most is my left one. And here again, I'm baiting him. I want him to reach and grab my wrist. There. I'm waiting for that, so it's not a surprise. So when he's here, I'm waiting for it. He tries to put my hand up, I grab him underneath. Just like that. I want to control the wrist, and now I'm going to turn. It doesn't matter if he lets go or whatever. I can control him here like this. I can throw the half. And I can put him on his back here like that, to the side. Down the middle. So I line up just like this, right behind. Because I just want to be able to control his hips. So wrestle here like this. Control. I have the arm across his hip. I don't want it up here where he can use his elbow and get it free. I have it back like a belt. So he's got to reach way back to get it. I want to pull him over here like this. And I can turn him from this position too. Once I'm here, my leg is behind this other leg. Just fight this a little bit. Here, I can push on his shoulder. Just fight this a little bit. I can pull him this way. Just like that. That's all I want. Just back points. That's enough for back points. He turns back down. Now I'm baiting him to try to take my hand off because I'm waiting for it. I just turned him this way. I want him to try to get the hand off. It's like taking a bad shot when we're in the feet. I want him to reach back and grab that hand. If he's really good and he knows I want that, and he just peels his elbow in there tight, now let me in here, I come over and I grab his chin right here, I'm on his back, and now I'm going to bend him around my knee like this. Like that, just right on my knee, and I can hold him. I hook the bottom leg so he can't roll on top of me. If I didn't have that, he could scoot his hips out. Other way. Other way, just turn. Just roll. Yeah, turn. Yeah, it's hard to do, but that's the only way he can go. But I'm waiting for that too. So I pull him here. Yeah, he can't really turn into me that way, but it's probably the only way he can go. But I'm squeezing right from that position. I can tilt him real quick that way. And now he's going to probably try to peel my hand off because I'm looking for that. Step over, come underneath, throw my half. So if anything that I've tried to convey to you is that I want to move him always in the positions that I am orchestrating. I want him to move exactly the way I want him to move the whole time. If he's really good at standing up, and I feel him come to his feet, I ride him to his feet like this, and where are his hands? He's doing what he's taught to do, is do what? Get hand control, hand right side. But if I'm looking for this, I get that first. He'd have to be really skilled. I get my wrestlers, and I do this for at least 1/4 of the practice. Get behind me. Just try to control my wrist. Go ahead. For 1/4 of the practice. Now if I do it for you, go.
Trying to get wrist control of the 3-time world champion.
Let's do it again. Go. See how easy I'm getting that? And he knows I'm doing it, right? But no one really drills that. They don't work on that position. So if I wrestle a guy that doesn't drill it, go. I get it every time. Go. See, he's getting better at it now because he's thinking about it, right? Now look at what it took me to think about it. You're a wrestler, right? No one thinks about it at all. So when I get behind a guy, I get this all the time. If I get this, he's in trouble. If you watch my match with Gable, I did it in high school. 18 years old, he's an Olympic champ. He does a stand-up. He's not watching where his hands are. I get it every time. I get off to the side. Just that notion of a table he's got no supporting points. He likes to get it. He likes to be square and keep me in this position. Like for instance, if he had me like this, I'd be trying to get that leg out. If he steps over that leg, I'm in trouble. Like if he stepped over it, he could drop me to the mat. So I got to be outside that leg. So he'd rather not let me get over there, but I can get over there. And once I'm over there, he's got no post. I can drag him to the mat. I just scoot to this position, right back where I want to be. He's going to reach back and grab my hands. If he doesn't grab the hands, he'll elbow to real tight. I'll grab his chin. I've already got this leg hooked. I pull him back over. And I'm holding that bottom leg so he can't roll into me. And I'm getting points. That's all I really want. He plans out. I can, if he doesn't reach back, and I've tilted him this way, for him to stop that tilt, he'll post the arm kind of like right here. He'll post him. She's trying to square his shoulders up, like that. Just try to get your chest like that. See, square up more. Then I'll cross face this way. Grab the cross face from here. I don't want to pull him. I just want to roll him up like this. I roll my knees into his chest, just like that log. You know, when you're trying to roll a log, and you push, and you roll it to where you need to get another bite, another grip, you got to release and get down, lower bite on it. That's my knees are keeping him from rolling to the mat. If my knees weren't there, he could roll down. I think I start over here, shove my knees into his chest, then I shove this knee under his elbow here. Then I can let go of this arm, and I can just rotate him this way. And I have this far wrist. If I lost that far wrist, he couldn't roll on top of me, but I keep him there. I can pin the guy right here, just blow my weight on his chest. And that kind of hurts a little bit. So I'm looking at cross face. I'm looking at tilt. I'm looking at if you reach back, scoop here. And I'm squeezing with my chest here. And then the way I pin a guy here is, I want to stack him on his shoulders. So I lift with this leg, and I lift and I rotate him up so his shoulders are on the mat and his legs are up. I'm squeezing here. So if he tries to, just try to move here. I'm squeezing real tight here, so he can't really move. Rather than stuffing over here and throwing a half. I never liked halves like this because you wrestle a guy that's a good bridger. He bridges really hard and high. Sometimes you get kind of caught here, a little off balance. I never liked that position because he bridges, it buries my shoulder. I'd rather lift him like this so there's no bridge. And it's just from my own experience. And I never liked being in a position to pin a guy and lose it because he's real flexible. I did that every match, every time. I didn't go to anything other than that. Whenever I was on the mat, I did a stand-up. Did a stand-up until I got away. If I had to do 10 stand-ups, I'm going to do 10 stand-ups. I'm not going to stop and try to switch or roll or dive between his legs or all that kind of stuff. Because I know I'm going to get away eventually. And he's working much harder than me. And when I get away, back to my feet, basic thumbs, elbows, just the same thing. And I realized that I could beat most anybody just by staying focused with that type of discipline. Another pinning combination I had a lot of success with. Once I break this guy down here, everything works off the same thing. I'm behind his hips. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to step over this leg. I learned this when I first start wrestling Gable. I noticed how the top wrestlers who get a leg on really, it's like a basic skill where you pull the leg over like this, and you get a leg on. It's a basic skill. You get off my leg now? It's a basic skill that a lot of wrestlers don't know, and I try to teach some high school type wrestlers. They don't even know. They don't know how to do this really. Just pull the guy over. I'm pulling him over that bottom leg. Then I have a leg in. All I want is the leg in kind of shallow. I don't need it in very deep. That's all I want. And then from there, I start climbing up on his shoulder. So even though he's, turn this way now. So now he pulls the arm out, and I come on top of him like this. I grab the armpit. I want my weight on top of his head like this. I'm right on top of him with all my weight. And you can't be nice, you know. I mean, sorry, just try to feel this, but my elbow's in the back of his neck here, and it's actually sliding up to his head. And even though he's trying to pull that elbow in, he can't really stop this position right here. Here, even though the arm's tucked in really tight, it's really hard. First of all, it hurts, and the first reaction is to try to get it out by pushing, and that's what I want right here. When I get here, I just grab my own arm, and then I just slip this way here. I throw the half. I'm on top the whole time. So we start, turn this way. So start here, pull him over, then I get my leg on here. Just pull it over, and I get a leg in, just like this. I jump right on top. And I still have the wrist too. But see where his arm is? I can have very easily here. I just come under my arm, and I drive over, push my half in, then I step this leg in. Now I just walk him right up to his shoulders like that. I did that in college for like 47 pins in college, same thing. Power half, power half. It's a different kind of power half though. Most of the power halves you see is one guy has a leg in like this, real deep, and they're locking, and they're trying to pull the guy over on top of him like this. And then what happens is the guys will roll back, they'll roll like this, come back over across it. It's not a rolling around. I don't want the rolling action. Like now. So I really can't get here and pull on top of me. I'm going to post, and I want him to go over. See, I'm driving over his head like this. That's where my half comes from. It doesn't come from pulling in this way. Because even when I'm here, he can fight off his back, or at least I'm here like this, just want to pull. Yeah, I'm making some points here, but I'm buried on my side, and I can't pin him here. I'd rather be on top from the very beginning. So while we're working on this, he'll flatten out a little bit. As he flattens out, I'm just here on top. He's carrying all my weight now. He can't really get off my leg, and I'm just grabbing in his armpit, just like this. Come underneath, grab my own wrist, and this is where the pull comes from. And as he fights this, I'll slide over his head here. All the weight comes on top of the head. Is there any questions on that?
We use that a lot, and one thing I've noticed by showing the kids, an emphasis on rotating your own hips to always kind of stay in that top position.
Exactly.
As soon as the hip slides off to the side, that's where we find that you get in a little trouble. But that rotating the hips, always kind of being on top as they're turning under you,
exactly,
helps a lot.
And you'll notice like Ben Askren, guys like that who know wrestling, they do that real well on the jiu-jitsu side. You know, so they're able to float right on top of guys real easily. Next position, when I'm here, I get the wrist, step over, get this leg. So now what I'm looking for now is, I'm looking to try to grab this ankle. Another pinning combination. I'm here, I'm on top, but I'm looking for that, okay? Especially if he's trying to come up really seriously. Pull it right like that, and I want to extend his leg this way, just like that. So I started here, and I pushed his leg over that way. And officials don't like you grabbing the ankle like that, but they'll let you hold it for at least 5 or 10 seconds. So when I get it, I want to turn. Okay, first of all, if I'm here, a lot of times he'll try to turn this hip down. Yes. But because my leg's in, it's much harder. But then look what happens when I rotate his hip this way. His hip turns the way I want it to turn. So I'm riding like this. I'm looking for that right away, right there. I have it. Now I rotate my hand, I push it this way. So there's a little bit of a skill set to rolling it this way. Because I want his hip turned. And once his hip is turned, I'm just catching it with my hand on the mat like that. It's pinned pretty tight now. I'm keeping weight over top of his shoulders. And now I'm going right to a cradle situation. So from here, I'm shoving my knee right into his stomach. And now I see his body's bent. I grab the heel and I'll fold him this way. I'm just starting to crunch him right over the top like this.
Nice.
And are you pretty flexible? I hope so, because it's I couldn't get in that position anymore. But you can turn a guy, any guy like that. It's a pinning combination that if you get to step 1, which is grabbing the ankle, you can turn the guy. A lot of pins, you got to get to by the 5th or 6th step of 6 steps to pin him. If I get to if I'm riding this guy, say I get the wrist, I step over the leg here, and I grab the ankle right now, I know I can pin this guy right here. Right now I'm thinking I can pin this guy right here. Take my time and come over the top, because he's pinned really top. I like pins that work if you get to the first step. So you get to the first step and understand that first step, and you can crunch and ride this guy there. And again, if he gets out, because I started in this really good position, some of it, maybe he gets the leg out, we're right back where I want to be right anyway. He's trying to come up to his base, cross wrist again. Because guys don't watch the wrist. He might tilt this way, come back, try to hook the arm this way, try to cross face. Maybe you try to go back to this move again. Once I have it pinned up, I crap the head and turn that way. But sometimes officials stop you from, they'll tell you to let go of the leg because it looks like you're cranking on his ankle and stuff. So what I've done now is I've stepped this leg in now, here. So I've switched a little bit. I've taken the top leg, and that's the one that I'm pulling in. So the official tells you to let go, no problem. I slide down here. I post it my hand behind his head, so he can't extend his body like this way. So my hand's here, so he tries to extend that way, I'm not letting him because my hand's there. I'm here like this. I slide down on his leg to give me more leverage here. Rather than trying to cradle from here, his leg is too strong here, I get the lock down here. So now when he tries to extend his body, I've got more leverage here. I just move that toward his head. And I get my cradle right up here, and I squeeze it really tight from here. And once I get it in, I push and go over the top, right in that position.
Okay, ladies, about 2 minutes.
Crazy cradle.
That series alone,
Crazy cradle.
if you have a guys that can learn that whole series, they'll pin lots of guys and they'll ride lots of guys, and they'll be in control the whole match. It's all I did. I did it. Something else you'll see too, even when I matched with Gable, he shot in once. He had my leg, and this is I did this in high school. He had my leg once. I learned that if I can block this elbow and come across and grab this far arm, then I could step over him, and you'll see this. How many of you guys have watched that match? Anyone? If you haven't, you can watch it. You can see. I was 18 years old, just a year out of high school. I did this in high school too. So it doesn't matter if you're young. If you have a move that's solid, it works. From here, I step over, and I just step over his back like this. I'm holding the far arm. So even though he tries to bridge, here you can hold the guy. Gable does reverse me, but to be honest with you, when he got here,
Panic.
he fought so hard, and I was kind of shocked that I had him, that when he bridged, I kind of let it go because I was a little, I don't know what I was thinking. But typically you can pin a guy there. But I just want you to see that the move works. If you have the far arm trapped, you'll have athletes that will feel comfortable stepping over a guy from there. It looks like you're stepping over a wizard, but you're not.
7-5.
He's got this arm, I've got this arm trapped. So I pose to the side, I step over. And in his match, I'm stepping over just like this. You'll see it. And he goes over, and we fall like this, and he bridges really hard, and then I let the arm go, and he reversed me. But typically, I've worked out in the practice after that, and I didn't let the arm go, and I saw I could hold him there. Because we worked out lots after that. Those are positions that help, that you can. First position is a front headlock. I learned that when I first started wrestling. I won my first state title with a front headlock. I don't see a lot of good front headlocks today with wrestlers. Because wrestlers are just, to me, wrestlers are just moving around and diving at each other. One guy will dive in, the other guy, I mean, just diving in, diving in. No setups, I don't see setups anymore. I was taught setups, position. I knew when I was out of position. I explain position similar to, you know, if I was standing on the edge of a cliff right here, there'd be danger, right? The closer I get, now there's a lot of danger. I feel that anxiety, the danger. Back here, there's no danger. When I'm wrestling and he gets a tie on me that I don't like, I feel like I'm on the edge of the cliff. I'm fighting hard to get out. I don't want to be there, not 1 second. I don't hang here like this and just see what he's going to do. Man, I'll fight, get out. I don't want him in there. Because I'm on the edge of the cliff. I'm being thrown off. If he gets on my head, I'm like, not for 1 second. If he hangs here, he might be good here. He may have a good headlock. He may have all kinds of stuff there. I don't want to hang in positions to see what he's going to do. I want to control it. When I'm wrestling this guy, he's got ankles, he's got weights on his ankles, his hands are tied up. It's unfair. I've had wrestlers, good wrestlers, come and tell me after the match, Kemp, it's unfair wrestling, you don't give me any position. And I'll be here, and coaches, I'm not going to mention names, a good prominent coach said to me once, Kemp, you're not that tough. You just don't give up position when you wrestle. You don't do anything when you wrestle. But when? He said, he did say that. He did say that. And then when he said that, I thought, okay, that's what I want. Why do I want to give up position? I don't want to, it's not a game of trading punches, you know, so you can stand the longest. He hits me, I hit him. No, I want him feeling like he can't do anything. Now, you got to be fairly strong to wrestle this way. But when I say fairly strong, you don't have to be, I wasn't the strongest guy. I was pretty strong, but I wrestled guys much stronger than me. And I wasn't the quickest guy, although I was pretty quick. But you can nullify and neutralize a lot of stuff by just controlling positions and understanding when you're on the edge in danger. There's guys who are wrestling, it's like, as a coach, you see it coming, you're like, you know, and all of a sudden, boom, a headlock comes, or something comes, or a shot comes. You know, as a coach, you can see the openings. So teaching position really helps the athlete become really aware of when they could be scored on. It's not trading move after move, back and forth, back and forth. No, it's not that at all. Another position that is just purely position that I see all the time. When a guy does get in, say he does get my leg, yeah, he does get in, I was taught to control the head. Instead of doing anything else, control the head, because if John tries to come up now, just try to come up. This is where my weight is. Just see the leverage and the biomechanics of where his head is. And even though he's bigger and stronger than me, just try to come up. He tries to come up. I'm just doing this. Now, if I'm countering the way everybody else counters, is like this. Now John comes up, he does all kinds of stuff. He can pick me up, he can cut the corner. So if we're wrestling, if John shoots in, like this, on the head. That's how I was taught to wrestle. Because he can't, just the leverage part of it, he can't come up. You're stuffed in the head, but it takes a whole different type of training to learn how to go, because you only have 1 second to make a decision. I go here or I counter the right way. If John shoots a head and side single, see a lot of guys here, I got 1 second, either wizard, and believe me, when I got here in John's position, I always could come up. I was strong enough, I knew how to cut the corner, I could come up. So I'm either going to wizard, or when he shoots in, I'm going to control the head. Here, the head right here. Now when he tries to cut the corner, he really can't as much, because his head is stuffed under my hips. If my hand's not there, and my hand's not controlling his hip here because I know that he's trying to get the angle. I'm holding him. So just holding him. If I whizzer, his hips can go wherever they want now. Now I'm kind of getting caught here. Everybody wrestles that way. I was taught to wrestle controlling the head. So if he does get by everything, head with my hips. That's how I was taught to wrestle. And I was taught how to sprawl, hips down and away, using all the power of my hips. I was taught that my leg is stronger than both of his arms. I was taught that, and I believe that. So if we're on our feet, John has my leg is stronger than both of his arms. But if I don't engage my legs, I'll never know. So when he has my leg, it's like this. So he's got a flex on his arms the whole time. If he pinches it, I get my leg out and I'm putting flex on his arms because now I know he can't switch off to anything. The moment he unlocks his hands to do something, my leg's away. The only way he could ever do something, he'd have to pinch my legs with his knee. Now his hands are a little bit free, but I'm still gonna get my legs out. When I'm here, I could never understand why guys couldn't get their leg out here. I mean, I can get my leg out, even though he's pinching, and get it out. And now his arms are under a flex the whole time. If I don't do that, I let him just control it. Yeah, he can switch off. So, to me, that's position. I know my legs are stronger than his arms, so if he grabs my legs, he's going to have a whole lot of work to do. I'm going to make him really work. So, a period of that, by the third period, man, I wrestled guys who were just dead. They're tired. They were game, they shot hard, they fought hard. Maybe some stalemates along the way, maybe I would score, but I knew that my legs were stronger than his arms. No matter where he was at on my leg. Here, he's going to feel the pressure on my legs right here with his head. If I let that come in, now he can come up. I got to get the head down. Here, walk my legs back. Once his grip breaks, I can score. A lot of my wrestling was scoring just like that. I won tournaments without shooting one time. Just because I knew the guy was going to shoot. There was no surprises. I knew he was shooting. It was almost like the punch was coming this way and I could block it easily because it was just so methodical. I took you through the logic a little bit of feel like a lot of times when the guy's going to shoot, their breathing will change. Their intensity will change. They'll get, you know, if you're wrestling a game guy, a guy who's really competitive, if I score and if he's really competitive, he's going to try to score, right? So I know that, so I'm thinking, okay, now I can pick up an easy point because I know he's going to shoot, so I kind of walk him down that road a little bit. A little bit of technique. Now he shoots in. I know he's shooting in. Yep, it doesn't matter. I step back, catch his head, and once I'm here, I grab the chin. I was always taught to grab the chin, and I want to control the head. John will tell you, his head, like if I lock, or if I reach underneath here like this, if I reach deep, he's got a deep grip on my arm too. I don't like that position. Arm is real shallow here, very shallow. And I'm staying square on his back. I think when I slide up to the side, he has an angle on me too. I don't think I can, I mean, yeah, I can put the head in the hole and do some different things here, but my goal is to beat the state champ. I want the state champ to get doubtful that he can't score. I want him to feel trapped. And John will tell you, when I have his head here, his head feels a little more trapped than here. His neck feels a little bit tight, so his mind starts to go to, man, my head is kind of trapped, right? Your neck and head is kind of, it's tight, he can't move it. And that's a little uncomfortable. It's not hurting him, but it just, for that split few seconds that he's thinking about that, I'm pulling him forward here. And then once his weight's in his hands, I can go around to the side, I pull the hip. When I get to here, I don't try to run around behind him because if John's really a competitive wrestler, he just spins too. I try to spin, he just spins. I don't get anything. I see that all the time. One guy will get here, he tries to run behind, he runs, and nobody gets anything. So I was taught, because of that, I come here, I grab the hip, there. So now when he tries to run, he can't, because I'm holding the hip just like it's a rope on his hip there. So when John tries to spin, he can't spin. I can come around. That moves a little bit more into the move realm, but that's a position. Understanding how he's moving and how I stop that movement. Once your athlete starts to understand that, he'll start figuring out his own moves because he understands position. Front help again. Leg goes back, arm real tight, and both arms are shallow, and I just grab my own wrist, and I'm squeezing his head together, and my chin's kind of in the middle of his back, right here. And when I bring my knees off the mat, I'm sucking it forward. So he's feeling that sucking motion. If I'm here with no pressure, now he can rest, he can start to do different things. I'm pulling him, so now there's a pull on his body. And I can tug really hard here. I can drag him forward here. The moment he's on his elbows, that's when I spring up and come around. A lot of pressure on him. Immediately I have to grab the hip and pull that hip and come around. Is there any questions, first of all? I mean, I kind of went through the philosophy now. Everything I teach follows the same thing. When you have an athlete that understands position and understands when he's in trouble, whenever I got taken down, it was don't quite know how to say this. It was almost like I knew it was coming. There was no surprises. Maybe I was getting a little lazy in position. When he scored, I was like, I knew it, you know. I just, violated position a little bit too much. Never should be a complete surprise. Because if you're getting surprised and you can't stop it, you have no chance of winning. It's like in boxing, you keep getting tagged real hard and you don't know how to stop it, you're not going to win. But if you control position all the time, you'll find your wrestlers will win a lot of matches, and they'll beat really, really good people. Wrestlers like to just do lots of different wrestling moves. They get bored when you start talking about position. But when I wrestle guys who are supposed to be good high school wrestlers, they don't know a whole lot about position. It's amazing. I mean, they're talented wrestlers. They win titles and stuff, and I'll spar with them a little bit. And they don't understand position. What I teach on the mat is the same thing. I learned position on the mat. I don't know if we'll have time to get into that, but you'll see. In fact, I'll do this just real quickly. If John's down, I was taught position so that down, top position, and bottom position. Right now we're going to focus on the bottom position. If a guy could break him over like this, he's not controlling his position that well. So if John gets on top of me, I was taught to do this. If he tries to break me down, this is what I'm going to be right here. Fight real hard not to go over. Don't let him pull me over first and then start fighting here. It's too late. So when I was here, he tries to break me over, it's like, fight right away. Now he tries to pull me over, he doesn't get anything. I lower my position. I don't want to be rolling around and him pulling me over and all that kind of stuff. It's hard, but I was taught that way, so I worked on it all the time. I used to have Russ Hellickson. I don't know if you know who Russ Hellickson is. He was my coach at the time. He was Olympic silver medalist at 220. He was one of our coaches. Ben Peterson was in our room. And I would have them get on top of me and try to break me off my base. I'm not saying they could never do it, but I got comfortable with, as he's trying to pull me, just like this. Rather than fighting here first. So, to me it's position. And then when I started going with guys my own size, they couldn't move me at all. So, in terms of position, as he's pulling me with that arm, I can tell the main arm is this arm. So if I can take this arm off, now he doesn't have anything to pull with anymore. Now I'm going to get this side of my body out. So if he tries to then recover, I have his hand already. I control the hand to the fingers. So again, slower. As he's pulling me, I lower my elevation. I don't want him to pull me off my base. If he gets me over, I'll post my head even. Not giving him a near wrist like this. We're talking inches. He tries to near wrist now, he doesn't get it. Now I gotta get my knee slide here and start getting my position back. Now I'm going for the hand that's on my body. And if he tries to reach and grab my other wrist, I let go. I don't want him to grab my wrist here, okay? because he'll win there. So I'm playing cat and mouse here. If he tries to grab my wrist, I'm going for the hands here until I get the hand up. Now I can come out and up. I learned that from Russ because he was so much bigger and stronger than me. I didn't want him grinding on me on the mat. And you just have to learn how to work and not give up that lower position. To me, it's just all position. If ever he reaches for my ankle, immediately I'm going to the ankle and taking it out. I never let a guy grab it and start controlling it like this. If he grabs it, now it's kind of too late. So I just have to feel it. If he goes back, I go back right away. I'm not turning my head here to the cradle like this, but even if I do that, I'm still holding the wrist, but still, when I control the ankle, I'm going to come this way. Head going up so there's no cradle. Now I can knee slide up and start to come up. I just segued into that because it's all position. When I learned how to wrestle, it wasn't a move, switch, roll, it was just position. I didn't want to be controlled. I didn't want to have a guy controlling me, whether it was a near wrist or tight waist or I'm just getting pummeled into the mat. Always position. Now back on our feet. One of the principal ways I would score on my opponent, it would be not going to my knees. If I go to my knees, I feel like there's a better opportunity for him to counter me. So I would try to score because I'm inside. If John tries to come inside, I'm blocking. All I'm trying to do now, if we were to freeze the action right here, like boom, took a common position in wrestling, right? His leg is real close. I know it's real close. It's almost like a dog's on a leash, and you see the leash is coiled up, and there's a sign that says "Beware of the dog," and you're like thinking, okay, I wonder how long that leash is, and you're guessing and you're hoping that you can stand back far enough so the dog can't get there, but it's that idea, or a cobra that can strike out at you. Well, I realized really long time ago in wrestling, that leg is that close. It's right there. So how do I get that leg? It's that close. Lower my elevation a little bit, take a little bit of a step. Boom. So my shot is like this. There. Just like that. I'm not shooting him like this, because now he sprawls, now I'm caught. If I miss this, nothing happens. There, just have to set up a little bit. Now my head posts. So as he tries to counter me, I can post him back to the leg. I used to drill this over and over again. I should inside step, and what I would do is I'd split the guy's body in half with my just imaginary line, slicing him in half, and I want to go after the leg that's closest. Most wrestlers stagger with the right leg, so I'm going to split his body on the side where I want the leg. Even though he maybe doesn't want me there, I keep myself there. So if John tries to move square again, I'm here. Most wrestlers let you stay here. The leg is really close. I know it's close. If he was inside, I couldn't get to the leg now. Because once I reach, he can hold me out. If I'm inside, I can let go whenever I want and reach. I found that wrestlers never really thought a whole lot about controlling the ties. Why? Because they weren't position wrestlers. I don't let John get inside. If he tries to get inside, I don't let him get inside. I make it difficult. If he does get inside, I take the arm up here like this. I'm going to get the arm back now. So now I can let go when I want. I can pull him around, go to that leg. But we'll start here for right now, right inside. So I'm moving my whole body here. And I'll even rest my head here like this. Now the leg is really close. Doesn't matter how hard he's fighting to get out, the leg is really close here. And I feel like if I just change levels, I can reach to the leg. Russ taught that single leg. We were doing snatches back then. And my whole career, that's what I did. I won the world title my senior in college just by being able to reach out and take the leg. Inside stepping, kind of moving my body toward this leg. I think an inside step is a more direct penetration. It's quick, but it's more like a punch. It's like a stabbing punch. That's the step. Boom, boom. Either way, I learned it both sides. Here, I should drill over and over again. Boom, here. my head spikes here. So that was how I learned to shoot. Just by, and again, I only need to get that shot 1 or 2 times to win a match. The whole time we went over, not able to block him so he can't shoot. So the whole match, I've realized he can't shoot. I've gone through maybe 1 or 2 periods. He can't shoot. I can tell he can't shoot because he wasn't able to. I just need this to have 1 time. We're fighting here, we're wrestling. I just need 1 opportunity. Look at that. It's 1 opportunity. That's all I'm looking for is just 1. And then from there, I learned really good finishes that I could always finish. I can't remember too many times that I got the leg and couldn't finish. I see wrestlers sometimes with the leg and they can't finish. They just can't finish. I don't know why. But we used to drill that so much. We did a lot of position wrestling when I was at Wisconsin. One guy started with the leg. Okay, one guy, boom, go wide right from here. Learn how to score from here. Learn how to, and then we got to the point where I could win every time here. And your body gets strong in the positions that you need to get strong in. My head stays in the right position. So John doesn't defeat my head position like this. Never. So he tried to get my head on the outside. Learn how to keep that head position here. So the whole time, when I got that leg, man, it was like I knew I could score. My confidence was really high, so I just had to get the leg 1 time. I knew I could block. I knew the guy couldn't get position, and I just wanted to get that leg 1 time. Again, my shots are more position than it's really a technique. I'll see some wrestlers trying to do some real fancy technique if I'm going to some high school kids, and I'll break it down, I'll stop them, I'll say, well, show me what you're doing. Man, it's like crazy stuff. It's like here, stuff like that. I mean, it's cool, it's fun, it's exciting, but the guy never got on me once. It worked out for an hour, but he kept trying and I kept saying, well, what are you trying to do there? Well, man, to me, I mean, that keeps the interest level because they can do these fun, fancy things, or headlocks. John can't headlock me if he can never grab my head. So I never had to worry about a headlock. I didn't even know what a headlock was, but if he's on my head here, and he's doing his things here, or I'm letting him, like some guy who's duck under, come back out, headlock. Well, he can't duck under because I'm blocking him. If I let him duck under, then he comes back out, and then he headlocks me or something. Because learning all that stuff's kind of cool, I guess. It's like dancing. If you go to dance classes and you will learn all these nice steps and stuff, it just keeps the interest level high in wrestling. But I was only concerned about what I could win with. Could I actually score on a really good guy with that? Those are moves that you do with the guy you're going to beat anyway. But as I progressed through my career, I could score on anybody. I got to the point where I knew I could score on anybody. Like, you know, Schultz was a very good technician. We all know Dave Schultz. I wrestled him 14 times in my career. I beat him 10 of the 14. From 1978, I wrestled him for the first time. And lost to him in 1983. And he made the World Cup team. And then 84, I lost him all that, the whole 4 matches to make the team that year. And I've got excuses for why I didn't win that time, but that doesn't matter now. The point I bring it up is because, you know, he was a great technician, but if you, like the same thing with Gable, if you can't get a guy out of position and you can't get him tired, and you just have a hard time scoring. And I worked out with Dave a lot, and I could feel a lot of the moves that he knew how to do. And it helped. We quit working out after about the first couple of times because it was just helping me get better, really, because I could understand. I just learned a little bit more about positions and what he was trying to do. But I'm telling you, if you can get your athletes to embrace that, and they start having success beating really good people, then they'll be running to you all the time for more position. It's more position than actually a wrestling move. The moves all come out of position. Because if you can't ever get position, you can never even get a move at all. You can't. And a lot of the matches that I see sometimes, one wrestler is just a little more intense than the other. Maybe they come from a good room with a lot of intensity. Like, I think about it like the Iowa wrestling room when I was in college. The Iowa room was really intense. So those wrestlers learn how to battle. They learn how to fight harder. So they get in a match or the national tournament, they just beat everybody up. The other wrestler just feels like they can't really deal with that intensity. And intensity and fighting will win you a lot of matches. But if you get a guy who understands position, like I did, then I never lost to the Iowa guys. You know, they just never. In fact, when Gable was, when we would talk about, you know, when I used to wrestle Iowa, I mean, Gable would talk about the other wrestlers in his lineup about, you know, maybe the chances that they have of winning against their opponent. And Gable's always very positive about his athletes. When he came to me, he would tell his 58-pounder, well, I don't really think you're going to beat Kemp. I mean, that was kind of weird. I heard him say that once. And for him to say that, maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I just didn't give up position. I didn't do a lot, he said too. He said, Kemp, if I was coaching you, you'd be more aggressive. Which I would have been cool to have been coached by him, because I think I could have probably explored more dominance when I wrestled. But he knew that I was going to be a hard guy to gain position on. So we'll work on one finish from this single leg. When I get the leg, here, we're in this position, my lock is back and away. I don't want to have it here where he can grab my hands and start pulling my hands away. My lock is back here. So I want him to reach really far to get so he doesn't have the same power here as here. Here he's got a lot of power there. I'm eventually going to lose here. Here. So even though he's trying to reach my leg, I'm keeping it back. So one of the first things I try to do is I want my hand to go to the heel. I have more leverage here than here. We're only talking inches. If I try to pull John's leg out here, I just don't have the leverage there. But here, now he tries to pull his leg out. I've got a lot more leverage just with 2 inches. So I tell my wrestlers, who controls whether my hand goes here or here? Who controls that? I do. So why go here? Go here. Now I got more leverage. Those 2 inches makes a huge difference. You may only have one shot at beating the state champ. One shot. You got the leg one time, and you got one shot to score. So we used to do situations, the whole practice sometimes. Yeah, it was boring sometimes as a wrestler, and man, I just wanted to wrestle. But I learned when I got in critical matches, I could score. And once I figured that out, I realized what the coaches were doing. And we started, and I just embraced it and just started to get good at that position. So when I'm in this position, I was always taught the outside hand locks over. You'd be surprised at the number of good wrestlers that I see lock like this. You know, his position again. If I'm locked here, he pulls it right off. And I'm talking about working on high school state champs. Be surprised at the number of good wrestlers that lock with the inside hand over. I'm talking good wrestlers, good state champion wrestlers. Because I like to jump out there and spar with guys, you know, and they'll shoot in, get a good shot. I just rip my leg back because number one, my leg's stronger than his arms anyway, and if he doesn't lock right, like this, I just rip it right off. And after we work out, I ask them, well, how come you lock that way? And they go, oh yeah. I mean, like they know it because they've been taught it, but they just don't. It's not disciplined because they're good enough because they come out of good rooms and they still win anyway, so they just forget about it. One of the worst things in the world is you have success doing violating position. Because now you get with a stud, a guy who really understands position, and you don't win. Coaches were always very particular about position. Always outside hand over the top. So here, and I was taught to pinch, because now I can hold his leg here. If John tries his leg free, I can hold it pretty good there with my knees. So maybe that's leg strength. Maybe actually that's like, you know, whatever those muscles are inside that's pulling it inside like that. I mean, we learn how to do that. So now I reach to the heel. Some guys were really good. I don't want to just pull it up because he still may win there. What I want to do is I roll up on my toe to create some space. That happens really quick here, and then my knee comes behind it. That takes a fraction of a second here, like that. So now when he tries to pull his leg back, now I have a little bit of help here. So it's not just me holding it, it's behind my knee. Now, I don't pull it up, because if he's strong, he'll still win here. I drop down to it like this and come up. So the whole way through, I'm controlling the leg here, there, back up. And it's in my armpit, because if I'm just holding it, John can kick out, he can pull it, or he can just kick out. I can't hold it real good there. If I put it in my armpit right away, he tries to kick out now, I can hold on to it. And he can tell he can't really kick out. One of the first things I want to try to do is I want to take him down, but I want him, I want to put him on his back. Another thing I didn't talk about a lot is the element of surprise. You score more when it's a surprise to him. Or like when I got scored on, it was kind of a surprise. Guy was so skilled, he just out-techniqued me and I didn't even know it was coming. The last thing he's thinking about is getting put on his back right now. He's on his feet. He might be thinking, okay, I'm getting taken down now. But now, what I want to do here, when I take him this way, I'm taking him back to his back. But as he's falling, here, I step around the post right here. So now when John tries to turn away, I have him caught here. If my hand wasn't there, he turns away real easy, and that's what everybody does. They just get a takedown. Everybody just trips, guy turns away, takedown. Instead, I'm here, I'm thinking, here, there, the post. So now he tries to turn away, I'm holding here, pick my 4 points up or 5 points, and maybe he can slide into a fall there. Thanks. I want to surprise him because he doesn't think he's getting taken down his back. When I trip, I'm jerking him a little bit harder to make him roll into me, so a little bit slower. As he's falling, I'm stepping back, jerking. I'm just dragging him into me, which makes him roll into me this way. That pulse. My hand right here. So I'm going to just catch him on his back. Sometimes guys fight really hard here, and you can't really, maybe their knees turn a little bit this way, and they know you're trying to take them this way, so they're aware of that. So I'm going to just watch your foot. I'm going to, sorry, I want to sound like my phone. I'm thinking, I thought I turned my phone off. I want to turn his hip down this way. Creates a lot of torque on his hip. So if he comes up again, so I'm coming underneath, and I'm really pushing that hip down like that. And I'm keeping my weight on it. So John tries to come back up. I'm not letting him come up. If I let go of it, he comes right back up. So when I take him down, go to the knees for my takedown. Here, I'm just come over the leg, not high enough for me to grab my wrist, because I've seen guys get caught here, and this guy's really good and strong. I can't even get my arm back. Turn the hip down, back pedal this way, and then control the knee here. If I go around the waist, what happens if I go here? He can whizzer me right away, or he can turn. If I come here too quick around the waist, now he whizzers, so I'm up here. So he tries to whizzer now, I'm blocked kind of low. To me, that's position, understanding when you're out of position. I see a lot of takedowns, real close to a takedown, around the waist, the guy whizzers. Another position here, some guys like to pull you in real close with the elbows here like this. I feel like I'm going to lose it. I reach up and grab the head. And I really strong arm him here with the head, right to his knee. And then once I have it here, I'll pick my knee up and I'll kind of squat here, because he'll win if he gets that heel here. Now again, his leg is stronger than my arms. I know that. I have it hooked here. So as he's trying to pull his leg back, he can't get it all the way back, but I have his head tight. Now he may bail out because he knows I have his head. He may push me away, and that's what I want. Anyway, but if he's trying to pull me in, I've got the head here like this. Once I'm here, I can circle him from that, like that. I want to hold on to him when I fall, because now I can hold him to his back. When he tries to turn away, I can get back points right there. So those are the couple ways guys will fight you in there. You know, good wrestlers will pull you in real hard, and they're strong, and you lose it. But I got a split second to make a decision. He's pulling me in, gotta grab the head, knee comes up, because now I'm just treating about 2 inches to catch his heel. If I didn't do that, his heel's free, I'm gonna lose that. So he's pulling me in, he's gotta catch his heel right here. Now I know I can pull him to the mat. He can't get his leg in, and I can pull him right down here. I don't want to just let him go. I want to hold him tight so he can't, so I can maybe get some back points. And I have his heel nice and high. His neck isn't as strong as my arm, and I know that. So, and most wrestlers don't work on neck exercises like I did when we were younger, back in the 70s. We did a lot of bridging, a lot of neck exercises. So if I got his head really tight here, that's probably the first stress he's had on his neck for years. Because wrestlers just don't do that discipline stuff. How many of you guys remember the pegboard? Those pegboards? I mean, those are great exercises, or rope climbing. All that stuff we did back in the 70s when I was a young wrestler to gain the kind of strength that really made a huge difference when you wrestle. There's some other techniques here. Obviously, if he puts my head to the outside, he beats me, immediately, it's almost like automatic. My hands got to immediately come there. I'll see a lot of wrestlers get here, the head goes to the outside, and they just stay here like this. Good wrestlers. And now it's too late. And I'll say to them, well, I mean, they know how to go to a double, they know all that, but it's like being disciplined enough to always drill it, always drill it. The moment the head goes to the outside, it's got to be automatic. I get here like this, John moves me here, right away. I got to just, both sides, over and over. We learn how to, and I got to change levels. How many people remember the 7 basic skills of wrestling? Only one hand? Are you kidding me? Show a hand. How many people remember the 7 basic skills of wrestling? Wow, that's amazing.
I remember learning them.
I think we go away. See, basic skill is like a position. It's not a move. It's just a skill set that you have to learn. I work with a lot of good high school wrestlers. They don't understand the concept of changing levels. A lot of wrestlers, when they grab a single leg, they're like this. Especially when the guy's fighting hard. They're like this. Legs are straight, or they're like this, hanging on. They don't understand the squatting concept. So if John tries to beat me here, I'm squatting right here. I got a lot of strength right here. If you look at my body position, it looks strong here versus here. I have no strength here, and no strength here. But if you get to this position and you sit here for a minute, you'll realize what I'm talking about. This isn't that comfortable. After 20, I'll get some really good high school wrestlers, and I'll just tell them, okay, let's just squat like this for a little bit. After about 20 seconds, they're like, hey, coach, why are we doing this? I said, why? Because you have to learn how to change levels and maintain that position and get strong there. Because I just got done wrestling you and I beat you in positions because you don't change levels good enough. When you shoot, you have to change levels. I have to change levels before I shoot. Same thing, to squat and change levels. I'm not diving in, I'm changing levels first, and then I can shoot. When I'm in this position, I can shoot, boom! I can get really far behind him. So it's changing levels and then shooting. All my shots come from changing levels, boom! That's how I can get at it. I can change levels first, and then I shoot. I have to learn to change levels. This is the most important position in wrestling, being able to change levels. To me, that's the basic skill. I learned all that. Very beginning, when I first learned how to wrestle, I learned how to change levels. I learned how to... I understood why I was doing it, though. Not just changing levels. And as I developed as a wrestler, I started to get strong in those areas. I mean, I gained a lot of physical strength in my hips and back and lower and legs. You ever notice the Russians, how they're built? They're strong in their hips and legs. At least the Russians back when I competed. I haven't really watched a lot of international wrestling lately. I haven't been to the Worlds or anything, but I know the Russians still win a lot of medals, so they must be doing something right. Maybe our folk style hurts us a little bit internationally, but when I made my first world team, Gable told me, he said, Lee, it's just wrestling. Don't worry about whether it's a freestyle move or a folk style move. Just take people down. Do the same thing you've been doing when you were wrestling. Just learn, just take people down. And that's all I did. I got 1-point takedowns. Didn't really do a lot of the freestyle stuff. To me, it was just all wrestling.
Hey, Lee, about 5 minutes.
Next position, when I'm in here, I'm controlling the whole thing. If he comes inside, I'll make him feel like he won a victory here. He's trying inside, now let him in here. once I have this one arm inside here, one of the ways that I would shoot a high crotch if I would ever go to my knees, I would underhook right from here. From here, we're wrestling. I underhook and I step to this side. And I still have this arm, and my head's over his arm here. Because if it's not, he could headlock me here. Can you see the headlock there? He could headlock. So I'm over here with my head. So if he tries a headlock, I'm over that arm with my arm, my head's here. So I'm blocking that. I know I'm blocking that. So my leg is in real tight here because I have a lot of strength here. You can see the leverage position here. In other words, I'm not like this. I'm here. Because at any time he tries to shoot in my leg, is it a good or bad thing for me? It's a good, because I want him to, because I have all the control. If he shoots, is it going to be a good or bad shot? Bad shot. If John tries to shoot here, that's what I want. If I'm not, I'm going to try to score there. So I like to keep my legs close, here like this, and I want to shoot. But if he doesn't shoot, now this is the only time I would try to shoot a high cross, because now I'm real close. I'm here to the side, I'll release, and I'll post inside here tight. Just like this, elbow tight. So even if he's trying to pummel inside, I don't let him here. So what I want to do now is, all I have to do is create a little bit of space. He doesn't feel like I can shoot here. Why? Because I'm over his back, I'm here. I mean, he doesn't think I can shoot. Back to the element of surprise here. If I make this uncomfortable for him, he'll try to back away. By that I mean pull hard here like this, pull, yeah, see how he's trying to pull away? If I let him go, look what happens. That's the space I need. So as he's trying to pull away, I let him create the space that I want for my shot. Again, element of surprise. And I lock differently on my high crotch. My hand on the outside is low. This hand is high around his thigh. I want to control his hip, but I want to control that leg, because if he tries to sprawl, I want to hold that leg. If I let the leg go, that's where most people are. So I hold that leg. He tries to sprawl, the leg is here, then I just pivot out of the way. Here. When I pivot out of the way, now I'm so low that if he try to grab my ankles or something, they're not there anymore. And then I have this leg controlled here. If I let it go, he can sprawl. But he can't. Even, and John tries to pull his leg away, I'm not letting it go. I'm going to hold that. And this hand's free to come across. If I was locked here like everybody else, I can't come across now. If I unlock my hands, I can't come across. So while I have that split second to be here, that's where I want to be. Because now this hand's free. I can position myself here, come across, because that hand's free. So that's when I would high crotch. I'd set it up the whole way though. I'm here, I want him to think that I can't shoot. Underhook to the side, just like this. On top of his chin. And then I want to be in a position so he's trying to back away from me. So I'm going to come here in his chest. Because if he doesn't back away, I'll shove him back. I'll shove him back to create the space I want. Here. And change levels. And attack his leg on his thigh. Controlling the lower leg. I'm just pivoting right here with my body. Here. When I pivot, it gives me the corner that I want. And I have his leg controlled to where he can't sprawl away the way he wants. Ideally, he wants that leg back there. Now, this is where most people are on a high crotch. That's where I'm going to be right here. Now, if he's still blocking my elbow pretty tight here, I come to the back side, take his leg. And I'm going to be right in his chest. I let this leg drop. Then I'm going to take his leg this way and try to cross his legs. And you can Turk right from there. To me, it's position more than anything else. And I don't see this position ever, or not that often, I should say. I'm controlling here. It's too hard to control the hip, because see, now his leg is free to sprawl back, and now I've got all this weight's in my back now. And if he came on top of my head here, like I was showing at the beginning, I'm going to lose here every time. If I'm here, he really can't get to my head, because now I can move. I got a lot of movement here. I can move here. Now I'm to the side. Here. So it's a position that you have to work on and drill, and your athlete has to just feel confident, like, okay, that's my position. I don't shoot high crotches from out here. It's just too far. If he's good, I only shoot high crotches if I got his shoulder here tight. Because now when I drop underneath here, like this, even though he's trying to get sprawling and get away from me, I can hold him. I got a lot of my strongest body parts are underneath him. My hips, my back, my leg, my head. I'm not bent over, my hips are in. Even though he's sprawling away, I can still come underneath here, there. Controlling that lower leg right from here. And I can pivot now. I can tell, I can move. I can move pretty good here. And again, if I can't come across here, I'll come to the back. Post him on his hip. Is there any questions about anything? I've got similar philosophies on the mat, in turns and stuff. I wasn't considered a big pinner, but I pinned 47 guys in college out of 160 matches, so I average, better than average pinner, but it only came from position. Any moves that you might want to see? Maybe. Yes.
Can you go over your single leg defense again, where you're pushing the head down?
Head inside?
Huh?
Head inside single?
Head outside,
Head
outside.
to the inside. Yeah. Head to the outside, you're pushing the head down.
Head outside?
Yeah.
He shoots in right from here. I'm not going to sprawl. If I sprawl, there's a couple things that'll. If I sprawl, he's going to duck me and finish. So you have to train your body. I was taught to not sprawl. Like if John were to shoot at me, he's going to get this here. I was taught to wrestle kind of like that, like bump him. Like if he shoots, I was taught to bump with my hips. I don't see that anymore. Like if he beats me and shoots, he's going to get boom here. And I can bump him hard to come here. If you ever wrestle Russ, and you guys remember Russ Ellison? Man, he had some strong legs and hips. We were taught to bump. If he shoots, okay, and then if he shoots in, he gets me, bump, and now I'm coming right back this way. I'm pushing all my weight over the head because I know he's trying to go this way to finish. I want to go this way. So that if he's trying to cut the corner, I'm not letting him walk. My weight's over his head now. Here. Until I can get my leg back. That's how I was taught to counter controlling the head. If he shoots a head inside, a lot of guys like to shoot with that outside arm shot. He shoots here, right there on the head. I don't want the whizzer. If I start the whizzer, he has control here. I'm gonna lose there. Wrestlers are, we teach wrestlers this when they first start wrestling because it's easy, I guess. We teach them whizzer, switch, roll, all that kind of stuff. Well, a whizzer is a last ditch effort not get scored on. If he shoots, I want to score him. If he shoots, I'm going to be here like this. That's where I want to be right here. My weight on top of him, I'm going to be able to grab ankles and put pressure this way. I want to be right on top of him with all my power. I don't want to whizzer, I want to control that head. And I want to control him with my hips. So it's all head position right here. Stuffing it. If I let the head go, he's going to win there. Even if he's on my feet here like this, my goal is to get his head down. So if he wrestles here, it's like here, right here, like this. So I'm starting here, I'm crunching here. I used to do drills just like this. Just wrestle hard, just wrestle hard. He wins when I give up that position. I can feel it. The moment I started to bail out, to try to whizzer, he wins. If I hang there, I'll stalemate that. I could stalemate this if I had to, right here. Go.
I have to try real hard to get my head out of there.
but the moment I do this, he starts, see that change of position? This is where everybody wrestles here. Now his head's gone. Now I'm countering like everybody else. But there's a moment of confidence you have to have. If he shoots in, here, I gotta boom. I gotta be confident enough to stuff that head. But wrestlers have been wrestling for 10 years not doing that. They learn how to whizzer and do all this stuff when they started, when they were 10, 11, 12, whatever years old. Learn how to stuff that head. we used to do drills like this. We start here, we go just like this and just wrestle here. Learning how to just hold the guy right here. Once he's giving up and he unlocks his hands, let's just say, feel it, don't pull back. Like that. So, I don't care if an official calls that a stalemate. He probably won't, but if he does, I'll stay there the whole match. I don't want to give him position. The moment I come out of this position, he wins. And even if we're here, I got to get him in that position. Beat that head here. That's what I want. Right there. If he's got a head outside, here. Or maybe I'll back out, get him here. That's my goal, is to get that head stuffed. Stuffed in my crotch, and I want to break his grip. And I know my legs are stronger than his arms, so the whole time I'm here too, he's feeling all this pressure here. Boom. He's feeling that pressure the whole time. Now once I'm here, I hold him. Don't let him out. If he tries to come out, I'm holding him here. Try to score. And that's when you know you're starting to beat a guy mentally. You know, if he's there, then he lets go, he's kind of giving up, like, okay, I'm not going to win this position. He may not be giving up the takedown, but he's giving up the position. And once I know I beat him in the position, I got him doubting that he can score me, and now I'm making him. And one last thing, when you get a guy underneath you, you want to threaten him like you're trying to score. Like, for instance, I'm doing this, moving, I'm making him work here. Make him really feel like. Sometimes I see guys here that just freeze right here, and they don't do anything. I want him to feel like I'm going to score. Feel like I'm going to score here. So he's working. He's got that element of fear, like, oh, he's going to score, he's going to score. That depletes his energy level. So just control the position and understand you have all the position.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give it.